Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be back with another young Indian, part of the Voice of the Young series. Right now, we have with us Amit Pattanaik. Let's listen to Amit. Over to you, Amit.
Okay, good evening, sir. Sir, first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. Uh, I think it's nearly a year since we have been professionally connected on LinkedIn, and I'm truly honored actually to be invited to share my voice in this prestigious platform. And I'm deeply appreciate the thought that you are creating this platform for us, for students like us, to share our voice. Um, that's and let me begin with this my introduction. My name is Amit Patnaik. I am from Odisha. Okay, and I am an independent researcher now. My background in economics, as you know, my background is in economics, and over the past years I have had the opportunity to work with the with IITs, IIT Roorkee and IIT Bhubaneswar itself. Particularly, sir, my research journey starts from this. After completing my post graduation, my journey started in IIT Bhubaneswar itself, where I'm being introduced to the research, what research exactly means, why to do research, and what is and how the research will impact the economy. Okay, because particularly government is funding for some projects to giving, we are giving some reports as a researcher, we are giving some reports, and on the basis of that government made policies. And I will briefing that I have, my previous research project was particularly based on distress migration, which is interconnected with the Manrega, as you know, and one of the which is one of the world's largest social welfare scheme. And my work specially explored how this program intersect with the issue of distress migration. Uh, Distress migration, while I'm speaking, distress migration is something that is both urgent and a deeply human subject, uh, as looking at today's scenario. So sir, in today's episode, I'll be sharing some insights about my research journey and what I have come across, and in a broader landscape. Nothing much about the, I don't want to be sound like an economist, because I am already sitting in front of a stalwart, so it is not likely to be sound like an economist. But something about research and something about the what is research in itself, what research means to me particularly, and like what's working in research, what's missing, and why the gaps in implementation matters than than we more realize. It is something that is beyond we realize, sir. Okay, so shall I start from this by starting from my work?
Your choice. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you, sir. My re- my in my intention and motivation for research starts from this issue of migration. Uh, like, starting from this migration study, as it is started from during my project assistantship in IIT Bhubaneswar, where the project primarily focused in Odisha, particularly some of the districts where it was a state sponsored project. Whether they are going to extend this program for the state holds, or they should drop the program. That's what the background of our project was. um, and with that field work and policy analysis, first, I mean, I have read some reports which were previously made by this government of India and government of Odisha as well. And something that is most valuable for me, or a valuable experience for me during that time, was interacting with several households during the field visit. I have touched with some around, five 2,200 household we have taken, and some 500 household I personally met with, where I observed that government's purpose behind continuing Manrex, government purpose behind continuing Manrex often seems uncorrelated with the people on the ground, because uh, while saying uncorrelated, I means like what people wants and what the government is doing, because we because everybody, those who are intact with this policy framework of Monrega, they know that they are giving some 236 rupees to 300 rupees per work, you know so it is not all about money, sir. As our research is basically focused on some migration issue, interstate migration or internet, particularly interstate migration. What I have supposed to see, like, you know people people's want, people's demand, and the government policies, particularly their bureaucratic framework, is is not actually supportive to each other. That's what I have observed. And while looking into this public data, while listening while listening economists like Dr. Samika Rabi, who is now the who is actually chaired as a economic advisory council member in PMO. She always said that public data, well, everything, a researcher should go and study the data, find the data, and what data will give you everything. That's what she says. I looked into data, try to find the figures, how the figures actually interact as the visualization work. I'm just putting my head into that, what the things exactly work, is the policies certainly going in a correct way or not. That's what I am being assigned for. And one of the most surprising thing I have observed in recent data, even all the viewers, those who are interested in this research, they can also go for this data. This data is publicly available. That is monitoring meetings. This is why I'm choosing this monitoring meeting part. I will describe it later. Monitoring meeting is, as it sounds, monitoring meeting is after the program implementation, whether this work is going to, whether the policy has a good, or to see the pros and cons of the policy in a nutshell. So what I have seen, you know the Manrega monitoring meeting, which are mandated to occur quarterly, in gram panchayat level particularly, um, in 2024-25, the meetings in all the states is is absolutely zero, and like meeting were not conducted at all. And so here here the word most surprising refers to, while I am looking into this Mizoram part, as I have said, like, nowhere in the states, this program implementation meeting has been conducted, but in Mizoram, only with the 60 participant in the last four quarters, 2023-24 and 2024-25. Last quarters, if we're going to study this, then particularly there are 60 participants and three meetings, which is very surprising. It what it refers, without going into this data visualization, without going to model creation and all these things, econometrics, one will get the exact thing what it means, because it is available in all the languages, all the certified languages we have as of now, 15 languages, it is available in that particular languages. Sir, 60, only 60 people in last three and in last 4 quarters, only 3 meetings has been conducted. So Mizoram, and another surprising thing is the work demand. There is a data for demand for work. Demand for work in Mizoram state is not particularly increasing day by day. Like it is a quarterly measured thing, but it is not increasing. So that was a very surprising thing for me. And in my observation, sir, gap in monitoring is not just a procedure. It is not stopped in some procedural labs. It has a direct social and economic implementation issue, and especially when viewed through the lens of interstate migration, because my study was based on that particular thing. And Manrega is here. The question is arise the design of Manrega, and among other things, to provide the employment at the local level and reduce the need of rural resident to the migrant in search of a work. When monitoring is a weak or absent, it, the question is there, sir, like whether this monitoring is weak, whether the people are going to do these meetings and all these things, or it is completely absent. The data shows it is completely absent because the figure is zero. And particularly, and and next question arises whether the program effectiveness suffer, which is often resulting in delayed in wage. See, wages are delayed. There is a poor quality of work. There are 4 5 categories of work, A, B, C, D, like work, and which are people are not demanding actually, because every day in India, every day road are broken. In Mumbai particularly, I am living nowadays, I am living in Mumbai. In Mumbai, every single day they are breaking the road and giving the employment, like what Ken says, dig the hole and fill the hole, government will pay the money to you. That the same way they are doing the thing, and in the rural area they are doing the same also. And in this lack of monitoring meeting is therefore not just a governance issue, but a trigger that the weakness of local employment generation, which is exacerbate the phenomena of distress migration, and undermining this Manrega core objective, which is like motto of the Manrega. It is also not particularly correlated with the today's people's demand. And this dissonance between this policy design, we are see, researchers will as of my as an experience, I can say researcher only research the thing particularly by literature review or the FGD or a field survey, and they will submit a report to the government. And what in a further part, government has a all right to trim the thing and use it the way they want, right? uh, and this is directly saying the policy failure, administrative loopholes. It is it is a very dogmatic issue nowadays, that what I have observed during those days. And that is what about the thing of while I am researching on Manrega. And sir, these days, also my these days I am working as an unpublished economist. I am trying to be trying to be establish myself with a good understanding of economics itself, how and why this economic implementation is needed, how this economic is how we can link this economy to the things which is a demand of the day, as I mean, like the today's demand of economics is not stocked with economics itself, but it's like the finance, artificial intelligence, data visualization skill, where we are very lagged at. India is very lagged at that particular thing. And as I have said, that is, I'm a unpublished economist and committed to decoding this developmental issue. Migration has, again, I'm coming to this migration. Migration has become a key thematic entry point nowadays. As we have seen this, Pakistan, people, those who are Pakistanis, those who are illegally living in India, and government is doing something about that, and that has become a key thematic entry point into this wider question, and it is a wider question of livelihood as well. Governance inequality, it is been created, it is solely interconnected with this Manrega thing. I hope and wish my effort not merely to analyze this data and studying rigorous literature review, doing literature review and all these things, analyze statistics, but to interpret what they mean for the real people in complex environment, and larger, and I want my work to reflect on a larger challenge within the research ecosystem itself. That's what I have observed, and that's what I am gaining from this research in IIT Bhubaneswar. And sir, today's and another thing I want to share here is the reality of research in India. Sir, the reality of research in India is, it is increasingly dogmatic. Why I'm saying that? Because in actually, unfortunately, in many cases, the PhD is treated more as a pathway to the financial security because of the stipend the UGC is giving. It is it has been treated like a financial security than as a pursuit of knowledge. People are not all the people, not I'm not even telling in a very absolute manner, but there are figures, there are facts that people are treating this money, the stipend that the government is giving to them, as a financial security. Mm, you know Actually, this observation regarding the idea of research started during my master's in Pondicherry University. I've encountered some data from newspapers and journals, which is showing some trends for many pursuing a PhD is seen merely as a temporary backup. Actually, PhD is being treated as a backup plan. Okay, we will do PhD or else we will do civil service. That is particularly in social science background, they are treating PhD as a very backup plan for themselves. And while they look for actually this shift in what happens, the way government spending money, this shift in motivation undermines the essence of research, and the stipend that government is providing, it is also seems to be uncorrelated, and seems it is not fitting in a single line. you know as There are some around, I think, 56 central universities and some IITs are there. I can't recall the numbers exactly, the number of IITs. But in India, while premier institutes like IITs provide a relatively better environment for research, let's say they are giving good scope for the field work, they are giving good scope for not good scope. It is a like they're giving a good environment to sustain those needs of researcher in a slightly happier way than the central university thing. And you know what it is being seen as, IITs provide a relatively better environment for skilled substantive research, stay and and the publication of IITs is somehow varied from central university publications. And what I have observed, sir, in last 2 3 years, people are publishing in peer review journal like anything. They are published, but it is, I am just asking myself a question while you know reviewing that paper for my research, whether this research paper is going to help the policymaker to find something interesting and um, uh, you know uh, taking some crux from this to implement the policies. That's what I have. But there are mm, there are not an absolute sense again, but there are not something that is interesting. They are finding, they are just left swiping that paper. Okay, this paper is rejected, we will not see this paper. This has nothing to contribute to the policy. That is what it is. And uh, while preparing for PhD, what I have seen, like the trend of PhD, as it is not actually policies and all these things, but as a researcher, while as a researcher, while digging into a while digging a hole, we have to at least know what is the at what capacity we need to go into, right? So recently in 2 3 days before, there is a effect I have come across, that is, I think, Dunning Kruger effect, which is and how I am linked it to this PhD thing. Like I have divided, like there are phases, like the phase, like cognitive state and experience. See, in pre-admission time, as there is a peak time, in the pre-admission time, people are very excited to do research. We will get stipend, we will be given a separate room to live, and something like that, etc etc. And this is a pre-admission stage. And and at the mid stage, that is cognitive stage, they are overconfident. We will publish in some peer reviewed journal. People will talk about us. But when they feel rejection, the experience, that is a experience stage, well, they faces you know uh, face rejection. It is something like the underestimation and kind of difficulty created for them, as I will later explain it in an IIT Kanpur case, which is a very people know it very widely because it is popped out in the newspaper. And second phase of this Dunning-Kruger effect is a mid program, while they are suffering with stipend issues. There seems to be underconfident, because in 10 principle economics, we very correctly observe people respond to incentives. Once government will in pocket some, at least some money to them, they will do the research. Otherwise, there are you particularly know that how much pressure are there on a PhD scholar to publish papers and to wrap up this PhD journey and to do a job. And that, in a first phase, he is overconfident. In a second phase or a mid phase, he is underconfident. I think they think they will not publish paper, and faces complexity, then isolation, depression, anxiety. This kind of a problem will arise, and this will give birth, not and this is being uh, you know being taking place, uh, in a very famous says, that is publish or perish framework. In India, um, you publish or you perish for some 6 years. If you not publish a good peer reviewed journal, then they will not listen to the scholar, and there are many more problem being happen. And my concern is, like, uh, we all are know what is the problem is, but what the secondly, people are somehow get, before getting into PhD, they are not aware about the data. Not, there are actually not you know good guides to guide us for choosing a good place or a reputed place to do PhD, because it is IIT is sounding like anything, but nobody's know the reality. That's what it is. The as correctly pointed out, mental health issue are prevalent among the PhD student, as a survey in IIT Kanpur revealed that 80% of PhD scholars all over India experience anxiety and other health mental diseases or challenges. And it is a very contemplating issue, and it is again nobody is looking for it correctly. Nobody is nobody is dragging some solution to give their in their hand. And another big issue is, sir, this NAT and JRF thing. If I have NAT, if I have JRF, then I will be selected in some board institution to give and this there are some procedure, I will get selected and do PhD. But it is okay in the case of a JRF, sir. And in the case of a NAT, you will be surprised to know, in, I think probably in 2006 to 9, there are some 30 to 40 central universities, and some 15,000 students are not being given this fellowship, which is amount to be 8,000 by the government, non-net fellowship I'm talking about. And now the case is not changed. Even now the case is not changed. It was 2006, 21 year already passed. There are increasing number of people, like 35,000 students. Out of them 16,000, I think 16,300 student approx, if I am correctly pointing it out, then 16,300 students are non are actually the recipient of this non-net fellowship, which is actually 8,000. And 8,000 has nothing to do with the monthly. It is actually it is actually not sufficient to make the make someone sustained in a mental way, I can say. Okay. And there are also some administrative hurdles, as I have talked about it before, like bureaucratic delays and cumbersome verification process in stipend disbursement issue, resulting in arrear in financial, and it create a financial strain among the scholars. There are some friends in JNU and other universities, they often pointed out this issue, that government is not hearing out us correctly, or they are just ignoring us, we don't know. Because this is just a 0.82% of GDP is being used for R&D. And how, I didn't know, sir. I actually don't know that how much from them are for social science studies, because every there are n number of sections in R&D, but I don't know how, from out of that 0.82%, how many of that percentage we are getting. And another data of I think Coursera global, I think Coursera global skill survey 2022 reveals that in India, skill set is something that, in terms of skill set, India is in 68%. Sorry, 68th position, uh, which is a very it is not a good sign for Indians. It is not a good sign for researcher as well. that is a issue for researcher. As I have in the starting up this conversation, I have mentioned this, that is in India, research is something that people will don't understand before going into digging into the hole. Why they are how much they will dig, how much they will go, they will they are certainly unknown about it. So this I think 2023, you know, uh, there are some 7 lakhs people from India, 7.5 lakhs people from India, students from India went for abroad to study PhD, because in India, PhD is, as I have said, PhD is merely a topic for create intelligence, create something that is valid for policy making, due to the skill set due to the skill set issue, particularly that what I have observed as of now. That is what, sir. You can ask. Yes, sir. You are not audible, sir.
Yeah, I'm audible now. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Amit, thank you so much. I am very much interested in your research on distress migration and your
Thank you.
point on the mismatch between the skills, I mean, not the skills, the schemes and the actual what the people want and the reality. Let me just say here that I'd like you to send me your research. Okay, let me read it. I want to read it. If you have some document, please send it to me.
Okay, sure, sir. Sure,
Yeah.
sir. Sure,
Okay.
sir.
So that's the first point I want to make. Secondly, you said you're in Mumbai. What are you doing there?
Sir, actually, there were some issues because my father, did just year before, and coincidentally, unfortunately and coincidentally, my uncle also died just 8 months before my as my dad died. So there were some problem. We are shifted from Odisha to Mumbai to take care of something related to our company and all these things. That is what
Okay.
it is, sir.
But are you doing research in Mumbai or you are still working with IIT?
No, no. Our IIT work is has already ended up. I am looking for PhD, and I am looking for some corporate research. Corporate organization to do research. As of now.
Okay. All right. Good. So that's clear that you have some family responsibilities. So you have.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, fine. That's good. All right, great. Why don't you share some of your personal side too? We've heard a lot of talk of, professional, something personal.
Something personal about myself is, sir. You know, if it is about my hobby, then I am. Th- I love making friends. I love to write poems in English and Urdu both.
In
That is
Urdu?
what. Some Urdu, like as am somehow I am being flow with the Urdu poets like John Elias Sahab, and there are some like Faiz Ahmad Faiz. That's why there are some weakness with the Urdu as well. So I write some poem in Urdu and in English also. That is what about, and that's how. And as I am a happy person, I just I love to research. I love to find something interesting every single day. At least something interesting. At least something interesting. I mean, if I am not getting time to read, if I am not getting time to do research and all these things, at least a single word which is actually unknown to people. I want to explore with that. That's what about myself, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm very interested in this Urdu angle because I love ghazals too. I don't know how to write them. I know how to listen to them. So, are you listening to this ghazal singing or mushairas or what's going on with you?
Like Urdu ghazal, I listen Urdu ghazal. I think John Elia, John Elia Sahab, and one amongst that female writer. I'm just forgetting his name. I'm just forgetting her name. She's a very good at this. I'm just forgetting her name, sir. So I love to heard about this. I love to hear that poet. So that's what about this. And I love to write. Actually, I write something that is related to. Not exactly. People think it's related to me, but it is not exactly related to me. It is related to something that I have listened to. That's all about
Okay.
it.
All right, great. So thank you so much, Amit. It's a pleasure to, you know, listen to your thinking. You are putting in a lot of time thinking about research and what to do with it. And also, I'm very happy about that. And as I said, I do want to see your paper on or your document on distress migration. So uh, it's time to give your final word. What's your final word?
Okay. So my final word is something I think I should while ended up this thing, my final word is to, you know, at this in this particular generation, people should read at least from, you know, from this electronic device. They should read from books. Books are interesting. And another thing is that uh, which is a very bigger problem for nowadays people. They are uh, very shortly they are depressed. I don't know why this depression is coming to their mind and why they are so depressed with everything. So I think they should meditate not in like this. They should meditate like they are at least they will happy after the getting up from their bed. They will feel happy, the entire day will go well. That's what it is, and everything will fall into part after this. Once you are being happy, everything will fall in a line.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. That's, but how do you become happy? You leave that question aside.
uh See sir, being happy, there is actually, I don't think there is some source of being happy. Being happy is, don't think much. Think what is actually necessary.
Uh,
Necessary means if I am doing research, then just think about research. Put your interest in that particular thing. If you are doing something creative things like design, all these things, put your time on that. So those who are actually busy in doing nothing, they are unhappy people. In this particularly in this era, they are very unhappy. Those
All
who are
right.
doing things, they are actually not unhappy, sir.
All right. Good. Let's leave it at that, Amit. Thank you so much. Let's end this recording now and we can talk a little bit offline. Okay.
Thank you
All
so much, sir.
right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for
I'll
listening
be,
me.
yeah, I'll be back with another young person or an expert soon. Till then, bye, everybody. Bye.